Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I'm Sean. This is In The Mix, episode 150, a big milestone episode of our Isle of Man series. Not just a huge episode because of the milestone, but we've also got a Europa League final in today's episode. Now, while it's great that we can focus on Football Manager and say that the team and the league is going very, very well, it's also a huge weekend for the real life Isle of Man side as they play their first ever friendly fixture against Guernsey. Now, in the description below is a link to go and get either an e-ticket to that game to watch it live, or to go and check out their regular store. They've got a fantastic kit that they released over the last couple of weeks, some wonderful, wonderful things and some incredibly hard work being done by the entire team at FC Isle of Man, and then wonderfully supportive of this series all the way through as well. We might, if we can get permission to do it, do something this weekend, like a live stream-ish type thing of that game. They are streaming it globally. We haven't bought a ticket ourselves to that. Whether I can actually do something on Twitch, like a watch-along party or something like that, we will wait and see. But keep an eye on their social media, keep an eye on our social media. We'll let you guys know as soon as something comes to the fore for that. But back to the Football Manager side, we've got a whole bunch of different stuff that we need to get through. We're going to jump straight in and see what the scenario is for the last day of the season, and then also heading into our Europa League final as well. So, as you guys can see, just above my head here, we're currently sitting in 6th spot in the division. We cannot fall down to 7th, which is great. It means we have secured Europa League football for next season. We can potentially get our highest ever finish if we win our game today and if Arsenal draw or lose their match. We, of course, last day of the season playing Leicester, who are one spot behind us in 7th. They cannot get above us. Interestingly, Leicester managed by Jamie Vardy, who was previously one of our coaches back when we were in the Championship. We gave him his start in the game. He then leapfrogged over to Swansea, then went to Fulham for a little bit, managed against us in our kind of like title race at a Championship level, and he's been at Leicester now since 2031, the last 5 seasons. Pretty much came up to the Premier Division the same time that we did, and each time I finished above him, which is a little bit rewarding, kind of developing a professional rivalry with Jamie Vardy. Technically, we could catch Liverpool as well if they lose their game and Arsenal lose their match, but for us it requires like a 15-goal swing, so I don't really think that's going to happen. Arsenal last game is against 16th place Aston Villa, so I don't really see them losing that one, so I think that's probably unlikely, but weirder shit's happened. Liverpool play Leeds away from home, who are looking to secure a title on their end, so some very interesting stuff. And at the top, Leeds is currently top going into the final day of the season, 81 points. Man City second on 80 points, and United third on 78 points. United have a positive goal difference, so there's a scenario where United wins, Leeds loses, Man City loses, and United win the title on the last day of the season. There's a scenario where Leeds draws or loses, Man City wins, and they win the title on the last day of the season. And if Leeds win their match against Liverpool, they will raise the title on the final day of the year. As far as that 7th spot goes, that's probably the only other item that I think can move. If Leicester lose to us by enough of a goal margin and Newcastle or Chelsea win by enough of a goal margin, they could jump up into that 7th position and Europa League football. Down at the other end, Norwich, Burnley are the two sides that will duke it out for that last relegation spot, or to try and avoid that last relegation spot. If Burnley lose and Norwich win or gain a point, they should go above them on goal difference. -31 to -51. It's a big difference between Norwich and Burnley. Wolves already relegated. Sheffield Wednesday already relegated. We'll go and have a look at those squads at the end of this and maybe have a look if there's anyone we can poach and try and bring across to our club. As far as the squad's concerned, we're not doing too badly. Pablo Rivera does have a knock. We're not going to risk him. We're going to leave him out for this first match, and we're going to focus on trying to get him fit for the Europa League final. Same with Frank Richard. He's back in full training in 5 days after his broken ankle. We're not going to risk too much with him, I don't think. Hopefully he can make the bench for the Europa League final, but really, we kind of knew when he got injured, when he broke his ankle, that he was probably out for the rest of the season. The only reason that he's actually kind of back in the conversation is that we've made it all the way to a European final. Magic editing though, we're going to jump forward now and look at the 2 lineups for the Leicester game. Alright, a few hours further ahead, and we are going with a pretty strong lineup. We are 1 short on the bench with Rivera missing out, and it does mean Mbungu starts, but we're going with Mancini in goal, Mokhtar and Esteban as the defensive partnership. They're playing as deep covering defenders with that ball-playing defender role, which seems so far to be working for us quite nicely. Carlos Andre and Fontana as the fullbacks. David Lynn's playing a little bit deeper. He's a DLP on defend, just because with the 2 centre-backs dropping off a little bit deeper, I don't want that bigger distance between our lines. So he's playing a little bit lower, a little bit deeper. Anyway, that's the idea in my head. We'll see how it plays out in the actual match itself, but so far it's been working. Henri plays alongside him, Haji at the 10 pulling the strings for us, with Ortiz on the left wing, Winter on the right, and Mbungu leading the line up top. Looking over at Leicester's lineup, they're playing a very flat 4-3-3, it looks like. Super flat across this defensive line. Maybe Justin is the only one pushing forward, but Namani on the other side looks like he might be a fullback on defend. They're rotating a little bit here. Saracita and Laura, and Hartley, a few of their better players don't seem to be starting today's match, which is not, it's interesting for us. We're still not the highest reputation in England. So I think because of that, sometimes teams, even though we're sitting in a really good league position, take us a little bit lightly and rotate players in and out. So I think Saracita would usually start in place of Esposito. I think Laura would likely play on one of the wings, if not up front. And I think Hartley as well usually plays on that left wing for them. But for whatever reason, they're rotating this time around, which we'll take. Esposito is going to lead the line for them. Still going. Still really the one holdout in their squad from the original database. 3-star current ability and potential. He's had quite the career. 182 goals across 362 appearances. He's played for the likes of Dortmund, West Ham, Valencia, Man City, Monaco, and now finishing off his career at Leicester. 5 goals for the season from 11 starts, 12 sub-appearances in that time as well. In midfield here, they've got Grant, who is their leading assist maker for the season. He's a number 10 by trade, but they're playing him a little bit deeper. 3-star current and potential ability. He looks decent. Started his career at Birmingham, had some loan spells at Southend and Hull, was at Watford for a bit, Udinese for a bit, and now has been at Leicester for 5 seasons. In goal, they've got Simpson Reynolds, whose name I recognise for some reason. Maybe it's because he was a previous under-21 international. Maybe we looked at him back in the day. 2.5-star current ability and potential. Not super impressive statistics, but he has got some good stats for the season. 37 appearances, 30 conceded, and 19 clean sheets. Not bad. 6.92 average rating in the league itself. It might be that Leicester are set up pretty defensively, or just to at least not concede as far as the league table is concerned. You can see they've only conceded 30 goals against, which is actually 1 less than us. Same as Arsenal, less than Liverpool, less than Man City, who are up in second. So they don't have any trouble really defending. It's really where they score that lets them down a little bit. So if we can keep a clean sheet against them today, we'll be well on our way. Passionately, we're going to say, great opportunity to show the pundits have been right to back you up. It just seems to consistently work. We are also on our positive instruction to start the match, even though we are away from home. Figured it's better to go positive, be a little bit more aggressive. If we want to win and we want to try and maybe, defy the odds and get above Arsenal, we have to try and score today. So we still have attacking up our sleeve if we need to go to it as well. Ball in here. Good ball over the top there for Gajali, and it's a good save from Mancini. Forces it out for the corner. Not bad little passage of play there for Leicester early doors. Grant's going to take the resulting corner as well. Towards back stick. Mokhtar with a good header away. Esposito tackled well by Henri, and Mbungu wide left. What can he do in this area? Tell you what, he's got Winter steaming into the box on the far side, but he's tackled by Justin. Tackle that had to be made, puts it out for the throw. Looking around the grounds with the other scenarios, it looks like Leeds have taken a lead against Liverpool. If they hold that lead, it will be enough for them to win the title on the final day. Carlos Andre with a strike from wide area. Not a bad effort. Simpson Reynolds equal to it in the Leicester goal. Ortiz is going to take the resulting corner now. Wraps left foot around it. Looks towards back post. Mokhtar was in the area, but it's well headed away. Lind can reset. Fontana, and the highlight comes to an end. So Leeds winning their game, they're doing their part. United already well up against Southampton, and City drawing 0-0 with Watford as things stand. We're through 30 minutes. We're going to use Get Creative with about 10 minutes remaining in the half. Chances for both sides early doors, but not a whole lot of highlights for either team. We have got a corner here again though. Ortiz to take, go short to Winter this time. Square ball to Ortiz again, gets it good back. It had a good position as well for a left-footed strike. Can only put it straight at Simpson Reynolds with a good save, sends it out for a corner again. Ortiz now goes back post. Oh, Mokhtar was in the area, but it's missed everyone and gone out for a throw-in on the far side. You don't see that one too often. United now 4-0 up against Southampton. They're doing all they can to improve their goal difference last day of the year. And at half-time with us, we're not doing badly. We're going to passionately say, pleased with how things are going. Okay, everyone's switched off. That's gone horrifically. Assertively, looking for you to make a difference. Looking for you to make a difference. Looking for you to make a difference. Let's end that team talk. That has not gone well last day of the season. Hopefully that's not a foreboding for the Europa League final. But we're also going to go attacking. And shit, we've lost Winter. Okay. What are we going to do here? Maybe we can bring on Harold. Maybe he can do a job on the far side. He can't do it as like a natural position, but he has got the stats to be a winger. Not ideal. I wonder if the team talk had anything to do with Winter's body just giving up on him there. João Roberto, ball out left here to Kajali. Now Namani. Harold went for the tackle. It's flicked on to Esposito, who shrugs off one challenge, and Mancini with a good save. It looked like it was just maybe going to sneak in there at the far post, but thankfully works its way out for the corner. Grant to now take for Leicester. It's pinballing around, and Esposito's going to get a yellow card for something. I'm not sure what. Ball back here with the keeper. Forward now for Leicester, who seem to be just moving into the ascendancy in this one. Grant with the ball. Out to Namani. Sends the ball into channel for Gajali. Maybe we get to the hour mark and have a look at some subs here. Maybe changing our tactical approach. We are 59th minute now, so yeah, let's do that. Let's go to counter. We haven't used that one really in this match just yet. There's a couple of players really struggling to get involved in the game. Maybe we move Harold to the left-hand side where he's more comfortable and put Ortiz on the right. Maybe we move Ortiz to be a forward. He's not super great at it, but yeah, why not? It's weird. It's out of the ordinary, but we'll give it a go. Bungu hasn't played well. Ortiz hasn't played well. Haji's been a bit disappointing as well. We might bring on Barbosa. Move him to be an attacking midfielder. And we'll hold on to that last sub. There's a couple other players there that we might want to look to take off at some point. Then let's also use a get creative shout as we go back to our balanced instruction. Okay, it's a 2-2 draw now between Leeds and Liverpool. Makes it very interesting going to the last few minutes. Ball in there from Lind. Simpson Reynolds comes out and claims. So highlight going to continue here. He's going for a long one forward. Esposito's the only man forward. Fontana with a header, but Vallejos is going to pick it back up. And Grant with a good ball over the top for Goodale. And actually, he's come off now. Jacob Hartley brought on for Leicester. United have moved up into second spot as things currently stand on goal difference. They need Liverpool to win, or at least score a winner here with a few minutes remaining for them to lift the title. It's about 10 minutes remaining in this one. Henry hasn't had the greatest game. We'll bring on Leicester, see what he can do with 10 minutes remaining. Assertively, I have faith in you. And then let's also, when we can, we've got a corner here which might get played. We don't get to see it. We're going to use demand more. And now Esteban's been taken off injured. Fantastic. Of course, as soon as you use 3 subs, you're destined to immediately lose a man off the pitch. Mokhtar goes along forward towards Barbosa. Does well to bring it down in traffic and burst forward into the box. Can he find the finish? It's a wonderful run. Bungu looks to put it back in. It's pinballing around again. Ortiz with the chance. João Roberto gets it away. Hartley eventually clears for Leicester. Can we use get creative? Okay, we've got a deep throw in on our right-hand side. Fontana to take. He's got bodies around him. He goes to Lind. Hartley's won it back for him, and now we're in trouble. It's 1v3 as they counter-attack here. Mokhtar played to Esposito, and he's hit the inside of the post before Fontana scrambles it away. Holy shit. I hope Esteban doesn't have a bad injury. That would be absolutely devastating if he does. And the referee calls full time. 14 shots, 6 on target, 39% possession for Leicester. 8 shots, 5 on target, 61% for us after a pretty boring 0-0 draw. We're going to say unlucky, boys. Just wasn't our day. I just want to keep morale up as much as I can going into the Europa League final. And now we have to kind of sit and wait and see what those injuries are going to look like for us. Both Winter and Esteban picking up knocks before the Europa League final isn't ideal. And looking elsewhere, it's topsy-turvy at the other end. So Leeds eventually win the league. There were very, very late goals for Francisco Jesus. For 1 minute, City were actually winning the league. And then Tom with a hat-trick, 93rd minute for Leeds, enough to get them the title on the final day of the season. United finished 3rd. Arsenal finished 4th. And Liverpool dropped down into 5th position. We finished 6th, which is kind of disappointing. It's the first season really that we've ever had, I think, in this series where we haven't improved on the season before. Finished 6th last year. We finished 6th again this year. But again, not a terrible effort. Leicester finished in 7th spot ahead of Chelsea on 60 points and Everton on 59. Newcastle losing last day of the season or drawing last day of the season sees them drop down to 10th. Very tight, that top 10. Really from 7th through to 10th, all could have changed on the last day. From 4th to 6th could have changed on the last day, and 1st to 3rd changed on the last day. A very, very tight division and league this season. Leeds win it, which is absolutely mental. I've got some friends who will be thrilled with that. Winter's out 3 to 6 weeks, which is horrific. And Esteban is out for 3 weeks, for fuck's sake. All right, so we're going to have to try and get through the Europa League final in 11 days without 2 of the players who've been phenomenal in helping us get there. We qualify for the Europa Conference League with a 6th place finish. I think we'll eventually get upgraded to Europa League. We'll see how that goes. And of course, I think if we win the Europa League final, we do make the Champions League next season. 34.25 million for finishing 6th in the league, and 2 million of that goes to the staff and the players, which is fantastic. Financially, that does help us quite a bit. Puts us up to £89 million in debt, which is much better than where we started the season. We've effectively recovered about £100 million throughout the course of this year. We're probably going to have to do a similar thing next season in terms of our expenditure, but we'll see how we go. Esteban's are out of the final, which is devastating for him. What we might do as well, we've got 10 days before the final itself, so we're going to give everyone, I think, 3 days rest, and then we'll do like a full week's prep for the match itself. Is there an outside chance that one of these guys actually makes it back for the next match? I don't think so. But magic of editing, let's jump forward to the match against Milan. We'll go through and we'll pick our team together. We'll do it a little bit differently this time around. All right, just like that, we are a few days ahead. Now, this raggedy old shirt isn't going to do. All right, that's much better. Okay, now it starts to feel like a European final. So we've got first here, Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam, going to be the home of this particular final. 64,000 expected to go and watch the match, which I think, actually no it won't, I'll take that back. When we've played like United and stuff like that, there's probably been bigger crowds. We do go into the match as underdogs, 13-8 favourites. A draw 2-1 I think is the highest but one, but then 6-4 for Milan to actually win the match, which makes sense. They'd have the higher global reputation and everything. We're going to be without Esteban and Jimmy Winter. They're missing Tiedemann, Cerna, Leone, and Mchangama as injury doubts. So we'll see if that actually ends up working out. It's a historic Europa League final, our first appearance in the competition, and the first real opportunity for AC Milan to actually win it. They've never won it before either. Liverpool, of course, the current holders after winning last season. Guardiola is the AC Milan manager. I've actually got a good record against Pep. And we can hold a team meeting. So we're going to say passionately, proud of you all for reaching the final. While we do want to win, it doesn't matter. And everyone's responded great, which is fantastic. That's what we want to see. Morale improving a little bit going into the match. All right, the fitness tests are in. Rivera's capable. Frank Rijkaard can get through 45 minutes, which we desperately need him to with Jimmy Winter out injured. Our recent form's not terrible. Can I look at my head-to-head against Guardiola? I don't know if I can, but we previously managed against him when he was at Man City. He only left in 2032. Then again, when he was at Tottenham as well, we managed against him then as well. And that's where we've probably got a decent record against him. He was at Bilbao for a little bit where we played them and beat them in the Europa League. And now he's at Milan where he's been for this season. Finished 7th in the division as well in a league that was eventually won by Roma. Juventus finishing 2nd only on goal difference. We did beat Juventus pretty comfortably. So you'd think maybe Milan being a little bit weaker, we might be able to get a good result as well. Of those injured guys, are any of them particularly good? So South Cerna's one. He looks decent, but nothing super spectacular. Left midfielder. Tiedemann, again, just solid, not spectacular. He's a central defender. Nothing to really write home about. Their best player, Milisajevic, forward/left winger. It'll be interesting to see how they actually play him. And Marco Leone is doubtful. Another fairly decent striker for them as well. So I think they can be gotten at. We're going to go into our team selection and let's go quick pick and see what's suggested, which is pretty close to our full strength lineup. Warburton, of course, will play in place of the injured. Actually, let's switch them around. Let's play Mokhtar on the left. He's got a bit better a right foot if needed. And then we'll put Warburton as a central defender. Do we want to go attacking from the off though? Yeah, fuck it. Why not? And we can actually get a really huge bench, so everybody can get on the bench. We don't have to worry too much about that. Winter misses out, which is disappointing. Esteban misses out, which is very disappointing. And Cambridge is enough to get himself onto the bench. Might just tidy these up so that they're in positional order. I don't know why the game randomly puts everybody all over the shop. And we've got to keep in mind as well, Richard probably only going to get through 45 minutes according to his current match conditioning, but his fitness up to 96%. He works his way back from that broken ankle. It is a strong lineup though. Mancini in goal, Warburton and Mokhtar as the defensive partnership, Andre and Fontana as the fullbacks, Lind and Henri in midfield, Haji at the 10, Ortiz on the left wing, Richard on the right, Rivera up top. We're going to go after it a little bit. If we get an early goal, that's going to settle everyone's nerves tremendously. If we don't, it's going to set up a pretty tense finish. And then we can at least drop back to positive if we need to. We can go to cautious or counter-attacking if we get a good result early or get a goal early. Looking at the Milan lineup, very interestingly, they've got Mason Greenwood on the right-hand side. I didn't actually know he was in their squad. We played him a few seasons ago when he was at Bournemouth and he was very good. He scored against us a few times. Then he's went to PSG, didn't do too much, and he's been at Milan now for a season as well. After pretty much spending his entire career in England, he only spent one season at Man United before Chelsea snapped him up. £42 million, then Bournemouth bought him for £50 million. Went on a free to PSG, and then Milan bought him for $8.75 million. Interesting career for Mason Greenwood and how that's played out. It's hard to pick who is actually going to be the most important players. Pirelli is their captain and also has the highest assist for the season. Number 10 by trade. They're playing him a little bit deeper, I think, as a deep line playmaker. Looks decent, good passing, 16 passing, 16 technique, 16 free kick taking. Some solid mental attributes in there. 18 flare jumps out as well. 18 jumping reach, 17 balance, 16 agility, the best of the physical attributes. No full Italian caps, which is always interesting. I assume just by playing for AC Milan you qualify for an Italian cap, but hasn't quite worked out that way for him. Milisajevic is their star player. I think they're playing him on the left wing, it looks like. So I'd assume he's playing as an inverted winger or an inside forward. He's an elite striker though, 17 dribbling, 16 passing. Not the best finishing for an elite level striker. Again, 18 flair seems to be a long running theme in this one. Instead, leading line is Jose Ewerton. Brazilian forward, 26 years of age. Again, he doesn't look particularly flashy. The 3-star current ability and 3.5-star potential, 12 finishing, 11 first touch. Pressing forward is always a good trait and attribute, always a good role, but I think we can get him. Passionately, we're going to say, great opportunity to show the pundits have been right to back you up. I'm going to passionately tell Rivera up top that we've got faith in him. And hopefully, we can push on and get a good performance out of the guys today. We've gotten outside of the first 5 minutes without conceding. Can we make it 10? Well, we have got a highlight here. Mancini starts with the possession for us. Ball into Lind. Mokhtar now to Warburton. Just play it forward. Don't do anything silly. Now out left to Carlos Andre. Can go up the line if he wants to. Instead, he goes back to Warburton. He's gone long ball forward. Rivera knocks it down well for Haji. Can we send this out to the right-hand side? And Richard, first involvement on his return from a broken ankle. He's given up possession though. Pizzo with the ball. Out to Milicevic. Linda will win it back in midfield. Now Haji. Switch out towards left-hand side. Zanotti puts it into a poor area, it must be said. Rivera eventually gets cleared. Fontana into Lind. Now Henri, back to Haji, out left to Ortiz. We need a big game from Ortiz on this left-hand side. He's done very well, and Rivera puts the ball home. 34th goal of the season for him. It was a wonderful run from Ortiz, and we know that we're going to struggle on that right-hand side a little bit with form, fitness, all that sort of stuff. Ortiz with a wonderful run, and we'll check it out here in 3 dimensions, actually. Haji puts a good ball over the top. He tried that same ball a minute earlier. Ortiz, lovely touch around the defender. Keeper can only spill it, and Rivera, thankfully on hand amongst a sea of AC Milan players, to smack that one into the back of the empty net to give us a 1-goal advantage 10 minutes in. We've got another highlight here again. Henri with possession. Out wide right to Fontana. He's got a lot of space in front of him. Don't cut inside. You've got space out wide. Stay there now. Can you get a good ball back stick? Falls to Ortiz. Finds Henri from distance, and he goes to drive from about 30 yards just over the crossbar. Throw in right-hand side again. Ball into Richard. Across to Henri. What can we work here? Fontana with the ball again. Right-hand side. Getting some good traction on this right early on. Haji, back to Henri. Haji again. Now Ortiz. Henri again. Can we maybe get one of the fullbacks forward to overlap? Ball out to Ortiz. What can he do 1v1? Deep ball in. Headed away by Della Torre. Jose Everton wins the ball back for Milan. Vacek, now to Greenwood. Out wide right to Zanotti. Carlos Andre wins it back in a good position. If this highlight goes our way, we'll stay on attacking. If it goes the way of AC Milan, we might drop off and go positive for, the next 20 minutes or so up till half-time. Henri sends a ball into the channel for Ortiz. What can he do with the ball in the wide left area? Goes front stick. Rivera's at the double. 35 goals for the season. I've been very critical of him and his league form, but his Europa League form, he's an absolute Europa League monster. Maybe we just need to bring in a forward that can score in the Premier League and play those games, and then Pablo Rivera becomes like a European specialist forward. It's a wonderful ball in from Ortiz. It's a wonderful near post run, a good flick on header, and if he scores with his right foot, he's got a perfect hat-trick in the Europa League final. There is a highlight here though for Milan, deep in our half. Milicevic to Vacek. Fontana with a good ball, back to Mancini. Sends it out left for Ortiz, who's been very busy. Takes a lovely touch around the defender, who's one-on-one with the keeper in a wide left area. Goes to strike himself. Maybe could have rolled the ball across the 6-yard box. Rivera could have tapped it home for 3. Instead it's out for the corner. Haji to take. Goes near post. Warburton was in there, but it's headed away. Henri will reset. Out to Richard now, wide right area. Can he beat the man 1v1? Galland with a good tackle. And then Milicevic puts it out for the throw. 15 minutes in, we're all over them so far. All right, 10 minutes remaining in the half. We're just going to use demand more shout, see if we can't give everyone some focus through to half time. No one's responded at all. I think they might already have one hand on the trophy, hypothetically speaking. But looking at the stats, it doesn't look like it's too different. So half-time, 2-0 up, but 6 shots, 5 on target, 47% possession for us. 9 shots, 6 on target, 53% for AC Milan. Let's do what I rarely do and go a little bit defensive. Let's go cautious, and let's jump into the team talk and passionately say, there's a trophy on the line. Go out there and show everyone that you're born winners. And a few have responded positively. And let's also passionately tell Rivera that we're impressed with his efforts. He looks fired up, which is great. We want to try and continue to get him on his way to that hat trick. And by maybe going counter-attacking, dropping off a little bit, Milan are going to start forcing, looking for goals or looking to come forward. It'll leave some space in behind for us. Pirelli sends the ball out wide left. Galland back to Pirelli. Good press there. We had 2 men on the ball, but we don't win it back. Rivera tries to close it down. Jose Everton now gets goal side. Mancini with a good save, and then we just pass it around at the back line. Very calm getting it out of the 6-yard box there. All right, we're through the hour mark here. What are we going to do? We're not going to take off Rivera, but we know Richard is struggling a little bit for conditioning, and he's on a 6.4, so we'll bring on Mbangu. And then elsewhere, David Lind hasn't had the greatest game. We're going to bring on Leicester. He can go as a deep line playmaker on support. And maybe some fresh legs in midfield, fresh legs out wide. That will be enough for us to deal with any overlapping threats. We're going to use Get Creative. Jose Everton finds Greenwood at the top of the box. Deep ball in towards Vashek, and he's flicked on the header, so they've pulled one back. All right, maybe we need to go back to attacking. Maybe we are inviting too much pressure. Jose Elton finds Greenwood. It's a good ball back in, it must be said. Good left-footed swinger. Vashek times his run well, and it's a good header. But maybe we've just kind of brought that upon ourselves. Wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world for a team to come back from 2-0 at halftime in a European final. It's happened to Milan before. Well, it was 3-0 in that one. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm making references that never actually happened. Pizzo with the ball forward. Carlos Andre recovers. Sends Ortiz up the line. Go to the corner flag, please, Larry. Heads there now. He's dragged 2 defenders. Goes near post to Rivera. And that's the hat-trick for Rivera. Again, that connection, that left-hand side connection. Ortiz down the channel. Puts a ball near post. Keeper doesn't come for it. And Rivera makes a wonderful run in front of the defender. And surely, at 3-1, that's enough for us to get the trophy. Good ball in. And Rivera left-footed that time. Not the perfect hat-trick, but a hat-trick in a cup final is absolutely immense. And he peels off to the corner flag just to celebrate with, I don't know who, maybe his lover. I don't know where they're sitting. All right, we're into the last 10 minutes. We're going to make that last sub. Based on ratings, it looks as though Haji and Fontana are struggling. I'll keep the back line secure. Let's go with Barbosa. We'll move him to an attacking midfielder. 10 minutes remain. Let's use just to demand more shout, just to try and get everyone some focus through to full time. It looks like Milan's team talk's gone horrifically. 4 minutes of additional time. Come on, boys. Let's get through it. Referee calls full time, and it's showing us that random highlight at the end where we lift the trophy, but it's in 2D, so of course it's not showing us anything. In the end, 9 shots, 8 on target, 48% possession for us, 16 shots, 10 on target, 52% of the ball for Milan. I'm going to jump in the dressing room, passionately tell everybody, very pleased with the result and your performance, and everybody has responded fantastically well, which is awesome for us. No massive surprises. Rivera will get the Man of the Match award for his hat-trick in the final. And holy shit, we've won the Europa League, so that's 1 European trophy we can tick off. Now we've just got to really start going after the Champions League a little bit more. We get 7.32 million for winning against Milan in the Europa League final. That's fantastic. Pretty much the whole squad gets a medal. I think the only one that misses out is our backup keeper, Paul Brady, by the looks of things. Supporters are thrilled. The board's thrilled. Rivera obviously thrilled. Passionately, we're going to give him a bit of praise as well. And that means that we qualify for the first time for the Champions League itself. Initial budgets are set. We get £1.3 million a week, which still isn't massive as far as the division's concerned. £21 million spent in the transfer market. We'll use that as wisely as we can. And £8.75 million has been shared amongst the squad and backroom staff for winning the Europa division as well. Rivera actually got top goal scorer in the competition with 15 goals. We are the biggest overachievers and also the champions as well. Absolutely huge. All right, end of season awards. There's still not that many current players making their way into the best 11. You can see Carlos Andres in there. Mokhtar and Escobar have joined. Henry makes the starting 11 after making the backups last year, and Mancini actually makes the substitutes as well. Leicester also amongst the substitutes, which is fantastic to see. Realistically, this team should be just our starting lineup because it's the highest that we've ever finished. End of season awards. Arnaud Henry, 69% of the vote, gets fans player of the season. Goal of the season, Junior Mbungu against Bournemouth. I think this was a good run and a good strike from distance. If we're 1-0 up, I think I know what goal it is. Yeah, he picks it up, ball up here in a good area. Just sneaks inside 2 midfielders here. And check out where he actually hits the ball from. It's a wonderful effort. Little worm burner across the ground. Keeper can't see it until late. And it flies into the back of the net. And then his hips just displace. And he kind of does this weird scissor kick thing. It was a good 2-0 victory on that day. Hisham Haji gets signing of the season, £80 million, joining us from Ajax, and young player of the season, Arnaud Henry. Our starting lineup is pretty much what you expect it to be. The tough one to look at is Peacock still starts on the right-hand side, despite leaving us in January. Vision and expectations for next season is all good. Set pieces, high-tempo pressing football, possession football, we're already doing all of that. Within the wage budget we're in, that's fine. 3-year contracts, first-team players, that's fine. Sign players to sell for profit, that's fine as well. We're expected to finish mid-table in the Premier Division, which we can do. And then we've also got to make the knockout round of the Champions League, which is just ridiculous. And they expect us within 5 years to be challenging for a Premier Division title, which is crazy. My contract's up in a few seasons' time. We'll have to keep an eye on that as well. End of season team meeting. We're going to passionately tell everyone it's been a long season. I hope you all had a good break. You're going to need to come back fully refreshed because I'm aiming for a mid-table finish next time round. And everybody has responded positively, which is fantastic to see. And look at that morale. That's exactly where you want to be finishing the season. Training camp destination, they want to send us to Hong Kong. They're suggesting China, the USA, Hong Kong, or Singapore. Let's go to the US. Big media market, that's what we want. Esposito from Milan wins the Euro Cup Player of the Season award. Rivera finishes runner-up. And squad of the season, Mokhtar, Henry, and Rivera all make it into the Euro Cup, or Europa League is what it should say. a very Milan-dominated side. I would have thought us winning it would maybe put some more players in there, but, beggars can't be choosers. We're not too worried about it. Oh my goodness, what an end to a wonderful season. I know it's been topsy-turvy, there's been all kinds of different roads, and I know when we set out at the start of this week and said we're going to focus on the Europa League, that I was immediately thinking in my head that we were going to get knocked out in that first knockout round, but we've made it through. We've beaten some massive teams as well, likes of Atletico Madrid, Juventus, AC Milan in the final, just some phenomenal performances from everyone. I'm hoping this is the springboard now for us to kick on and be a little bit better next season and actually start pushing the higher teams in our division. And hopefully it in turn also improves the club overall reputation. That would be massive for us as well to be bringing players in. But exciting times. I'm super excited to start a new season again next week. You guys will have to tune in to check all that out. I'm super excited for everything this weekend happening with the real life FC Isle of Man side. You'll have to tune in, keep an eye on Twitter and stuff as well for all of the details relating to that. But as always, more than anything, I just appreciate you guys watching and coming along for the ride. You can drop a like on this video if you want to help celebrate a Europa League triumph. You can subscribe to the channel if you want to be kept up to date on all of our future videos as they continue to release Monday to Friday, all the way out to the release of FM21. I'm tongue-tied, I'm not getting my sentence out there. I'm going to go and have a beer or something. As always though, I've been Sean and I'll see you all again in the mixer.